The college football experience, Boston College Eagles 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to get started today. We're also brought to you by Bird Dog Shorts. The world's greatest shorts are hooking you up with a free Yeti style tumbler when you order over at birddogs.com/pool. Once again, that's birddogs.com/pool. So check out those things. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, this is Bill Romanowski. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Boston College Eagles 2023 season preview episode. Oh boy, I'm excited to talk a little BC football with you. If you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to, well, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, AKA Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Yes, hopefully you're subscribed on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. We're also available wherever you listen to podcasts at, as we break down all 133 teams in the land with a solo podcast for each and every team. We don't discriminate. All right, and I'm excited to talk BC football. In my opinion, Boston College, two-time national champions, 1926 and 1940, but it's been a while. It's been a while. Can they get back there? Is Jeff Hafley the man for the job? I think a lot of the questions coming into 2023. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh.
Oh, play that Tecmo Super Bowl music. Pretend like you're Hartley Dykes or Irving Fry or who are there? Mark Wilson. You know, but this is a Boston College
BC
thing.
legends.
You heard the Bill Romanowski introduction. He's a BC Eagle. Luke Kuechly, BC Eagle. Got a lot of good linebackers in there.
Dang shame Luke Kuechly wasn't in Tecmo Super Bowl.
Yeah, he fit well for that. But this is arguably
Sideline to sideline. He would have been like Derek Thomas in there.
True. And look, this is arguably, you could make the argument quarterback U. I know you could mention several other schools. Would you consider Bama a quarterback U?
Lately, certainly, absolutely, and then long term. But I guess what in the 90s did they have, in early 2000s did they have anything quarterback wise?
BC?
No.
Bama? Not really. But
BC did, baby.
Boston College has been rolling for quite some time. When you think about Doug Flutie, who, obviously one of the most historical plays in college football history when he beat the Miami Hurricanes at the Orange Bowl.
Still their all-time leading passer.
Yeah, I mean, just unbelievable. Then you go into like the other era of like Mark Hartzell and Glenn Foley. Remember they beat Glenn Foley, upset Notre Dame in South Bend, one of the more historic games of my childhood. And then, the Hasselbeck brothers, Matt and Tim. And that went into, somewhere in the middle there was Brian St. Pierre, who played in the NFL. And then it jumps over to Matt Ryan, who was very successful, in the NFL as well. And you could argue last year, Phil Jurkovic, he almost came out a year ago and he would have been drafted. That would have been another quarterback. But Patty C, they are kind of quarterback you. Can they survive this without Phil Jerkovic? We're going to talk more about
why
that.
Is that? Why is Boston College able to crank out good quarterbacks?
I think they used to just always have pro style offense, and maybe Tom Coughlin era, to Dan Henning was it, and then into the era of who was the UVA guy that was their coach for a little bit. UVA's OC in the 90s. I'm drawing a blank, but they had Jeff Jagosinski for a little bit, and I thought that was when they got to number 2 in the nation with Matt Ryan when they won in Blacksburg. But yeah, they just kind of have had that MO. If anything, they lost it a little bit with Adazio because they had Anthony Brown then, but he was not
grounding and pounding.
He never really cared about quarterback play, in my opinion. And then you jump to Hafley, who I think's done a decent job. Now, Jeff Hafley's been recruiting better, and it makes it very interesting to see if this year perhaps could be a big year for him.
He has last 4 cycles, 63, 61, then 37 and 40. So those are 2 different ballparks that he's been recruiting in over the last 2 years. Granted, this is year 4, but this is really like his 4th recruiting cycle. So if he continues to be a top 40 recruiter, I think Boston College, especially in the ACC, can win with that kind of talent.
I don't know. It's a time bomb right now. The ACC is, I think everyone knows this, and how can it be sustainable? I think, and Boston College really needs to get back to that level they were at when I mentioned 1940. You know what I mean? I know that's a long time ago, but I'm being serious. Like they need to start taking football seriously. Look, you're the only college football school in Boston. Yeah. All right. Or, FBS school in Boston, even in like the whole Northeast, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
They need to take advantage of that. They need to use NIL.
The next closest team is what? Rutgers?
Syracuse?
Yeah, which is on the western
which
side
is in
of
the middle of nowhere. Like you would think the NIL opportunities, like if they just get their shit together and put a bigger emphasis on football and basketball, really, this program, I think could really be good. Kind of a sleeping giant in a way if they take it serious.
Yeah.
Now, that remains to be seen of late, but I think they're in this. This is what's kind of crazy about college football right now. You're in the situation where these programs that haven't maybe took it the most serious lately are going to have to make a decision.
Yeah.
So I hope they go all in on football. I would love to see it, and maybe Jeff Hafley is the right man for the job. We're going to talk about it in a second, but. First, I want to tell you that the Boston College season preview episode for 2023 is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, Edge Boost is the world's first bet now, pay later Visa card, Patty C. Edge currently offers up to $2,500 in betting advances, which can be an extremely valuable tool. Imagine what you could do with an increased bankroll. Maybe get down on some of your favorite futures without tying up your bankroll for months, double down on a favorite bet you like, or maybe even create an awesome middle or even hedge, which is absolutely disgusting. And we don't advise that, but hey, some people are different. Look, Edge Boost isn't some sleazy loan shark. You don't got to worry about coming outside of the dry cleaners and getting your ass whooped. You know what I mean? By some gigantic stiff with like a lead pipe. You know,
one of the bad guys in a Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah, exactly. You don't got to worry about that. And that's why I would argue that gambling is so much safer today with the legalization of everything. But Edge Boost charges 0 interest. That's half the battle too. It was like, I feel like back in the day, people would get into such a hole. They didn't have the money and they continue to sink further in that hole because of the interest. You don't have that here. That's just this company's great because they don't offer, they're not out to get you essentially. Edge Boost can be a part of a responsible gambling plan as you can set up daily, weekly, monthly limits across all your betting accounts in one place. Support SGPN and grow your bankroll by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to sign up. Once again, that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. Must be 21 years or older to use. Problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we are back on the college football experience, talking Boston College football here, Patty C. And look, this is one that I really am excited, but it's a make or break year. I mean, Jeff Hafley's entering year 4. He's 15-20 in 3 years. You rattled off the fact that he's been recruiting at a much higher level. Yeah. I don't know if that makes you more patient. In a way, I don't think you might be knowing the ACC situation. I don't know that patience is a virtue that you have right now.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, the grant of rights is a thing that Boston College is relying heavily for the ACC to, hold up on. But if it doesn't, you have your Magnificent Seven. All they need to get to is 8 teams that find a new home, and then they will all bounce.
They really needed to make it a point of emphasis. I think Tom O'Brien, by the way, was the name of the old coach.
Nice.
But they really need to take it serious, and perhaps it starts this year. I'm excited about the opportunities, and if they, we'll talk about some possible candidates if it doesn't work out for Hafley. But we're not wishing someone to be fired. I just think it's a make or break year. They're kind of must watch because of that.
Yeah, and look, Hafley, it's easy to have a short memory, but his 2 previous years they went bowling 6-5, then 6-6, but then obviously 3-9. There were some extenuating circumstances last year, namely an entirely new offensive line
they got depleted at the offensive line. They had major injuries. Were starting walk-ons. Also, Jerkovic got knocked out.
Yeah.
So,
and the offensive stats reflected that.
Zay Flowers though ended up being a top pick. Hey,
yeah, I mean, he's still cranking out some NFL talent, but and what you would expect when you're having top 40 recruiting classes. But they have to replenish because he's not coming back. So I have some major concerns about the talent on this team right now. It's going to take Hafley doing a pretty darn good coaching job, but we're going to take a look at that schedule in a little bit.
Yeah. First, let's look at the transfer portal because departing, and obviously the transfer portal is such a huge deal in college athletics, really, football, basketball, even baseball.
It's as big as recruiting at this point. Almost.
You might even make the case it could be more important.
Yeah,
because because they're proven on the college level.
They're more immediate impacts.
Yeah. So departing, obviously, I touched on this. Phil Jerkovic heads to Pitt. Now, not only is this a tough loss because I know he was at Notre Dame before, but he's been at BC two or 3 years now.
Yeah,
and he goes to Pitt. Pitt's on the schedule.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like that's a pretty tough loss. I know he followed the offensive coordinator down there. He had a connection with the OC, and I believe he's from Pittsburgh. Yeah. So that's a substantial loss. Offensive tackle Kevin Pine goes to Rhode Island in the FCS with the Rams. Safety Jason Maitre. This is a big one here for the Wisconsin Badgers. That's a critical loss because I think he's going to play immediately for Wisconsin. It's a big get. Defensive lineman Kayvon Wright goes to Boise State. Cornerback Josh DeBerry to Texas A&M. That was a gigantic loss. And
you're losing a starting lineman to Wisconsin who
starting safety.
Starting safety. Okay, so that's a little better.
Yeah.
But then anyone who's going to go get PT at A&M.
Well, they're also losing an offensive lineman, Finn Durstein, to Texas A&M. Maybe you can hit on that as your point with losing a big time player on the line of scrimmage to a major school.
True. Not fun either.
Also lost Jalen Gill to Fresno State, a wideout. Also in the portal, and they haven't found a home yet, is Peter Delaportes. That's a quarterback there, and offensive tackle Christian Curatolo, cornerback Sean Battle, and defensive lineman Isaiah Henderson. So that's what they lost. Maybe some of those guys that haven't found homes yet, maybe they come back, maybe not. I don't know. But the Jerkovic loss, gigantic. I would say that the two in the secondary, the safety, the corner, gigantic, and obviously the offensive lineman Durstein to A&M as well. Those are pretty big losses. The question, we try to grade the portal. Now, incoming comes quarterback Thomas Castanelas from UCF, the very Golden Knights. Running back Kyle Robichaux from Western Kentucky. And I expect Robichaux to actually be getting some carries this season. Also, safety Victor Nelson Jr. comes over from Long Island with the Shocks of Long Island. Look, that's an interesting one because we know Long Island wasn't very good, but maybe a diamond in the rough. You saw it last year at Florida State going out and getting Jared Verse at the defensive end from Albany. Everyone's like, what? Florida State's going to get this guy? He was an animal in the ACC.
He's got to have at least some talent for, I'm sure Hafley's not just going and getting a scrub on the Long Island squad.
Yeah. So then offensive tackle Logan Taylor comes over from Virginia. You're wearing a Wahoo's hat right now, and they're on the schedule. Defensive lineman George Rooks comes in from the Michigan Wolverines. They always have a strong defensive line, so that could be a really big get, I think, for the Eagles. I love this get right here. Wide receiver Ryan O'Keefe from UCF. You saw Zay Flowers go. I think O'Keefe and UCF played a lot of those Wednesday, or not Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday games in the AAC. They're now off to the Big 12.
Got to see him.
We would do DFS plays on our shows, and I would roster this guy a lot. He's really good, and if anything, I think he's going to benefit from being away. Gus Malzahn's offense, in my opinion, not super friendly to the wide receivers.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to benefit. I think it's a really good game.
We were doing a little research on that. His yards per catch prior to Malzahn's arrival, 19.6. And then 2 consecutive years under Malzahn with the offense at 9.7 and 9.9. So it's been a much less of a big play threat with Malzahn.
Yeah.
So I think,
and that's just the offense. Get away from that thing if you're a wide out.
And also he, in his 2 previous years at UCF, 0 rushing attempts. And then, basically 20 rushes per year under Malzahn. He's
trying to turn him into a running back.
Yeah, they want him to be like essentially Eric Metcalf.
Yeah.
Let him be a receiver, throw the ball down the field to him, and let him do what he does.
So I actually, when you add in, so I'm actually, this is kind of some sneaky gets. I like O'Keefe, Kari Jackson, a cornerback from the Arkansas Razorbacks, some SEC talent coming up to Boston. I think he's going to play substantial minutes, if not start. Offensive lineman Kyle Hergel from Texas State. He is a starter. He was a starter at Texas State. He's going to be a starter at Boston College. That's a big get. And then cornerback Alex Washington coming over from Harvard. Now, this is the thing. He's penciled in as a starter too. So Ivy League play, I don't know how it would translate to the ACC. But if you're telling me you went and got these players in the portal that are starters.
Yeah, at the very least, they have college reps,
I still say they lost the portal though.
Well, for a team that.
What do you think if you had to grade it?
Well, losing Jerkovich alone is kind of a pretty.
Even
big
though Emmett Morehead flashed in those couple games.
Emmett Morehead did have a strong end of the season, and so maybe it's not that big of a loss. In fact, if you judge that for what it is, it doesn't seem like that big of a loss. But still, you're losing a 5-star quarterback. That's a pretty big hit, even if it's just for depth. But I guess you can't expect to hold on to that kind of guy for depth. But overall, it's kind of a wash. It seems like a wash outside of that.
I think slight loss.
Okay.
It depends how Rooks plays. If Rooks ends up being a force on the defensive line, maybe I'm wrong.
O'Keefe is a big gain, but if you're losing starting offensive lineman to Texas A&M, that team is,
they got everybody and they wanted to go get,
your
just
guy
means something.
Yeah.
Offensive coordinator. So coordinator wise, Jeff Hafley does this thing with multiple. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen in Chestnut Hill, man. So Rob Chudzinski.
Yeah.
He is a co-offensive coordinator with Steve Shimko. Last year, and they have their work cut out for them. I know they weren't here last year as the OC, but scoring offense was 121st, rush offense 130th. Folks, there was only 131 teams in the FBS, so they were the second worst rush offense in America last year.
Well, Rob Chudzinski was special assistant to the head coach last year. I don't know if that means he was involved in the offense, but if he was, like you said, they sucked.
The offensive line problems, I think, is where that all stems from. Yeah. I just feel like they weren't going to have success when you're starting that many walk-ons and stuff like that. It just wasn't going to, I don't care if you had Walter Payton back there. It wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
The pass offense was 50th, but the total offense 120th, Patty C. That is not good. But like we said, Emmett Morehead flashed. Can he be the difference maker this year for the Eagles? I think, if he can stay healthy, if they can protect him, maybe they could have a decent season. He showed, I have a text, I think from last November when NC Nick texted me, he's like, hey, this Emmett Morehead kid's good.
Yeah. 6'5", 230. That's pretty prototypical size if you're running a pro style offense. And his last 4 games, 330 yards and 4 touchdowns, no picks, 330 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. He laid a clunker against Notre Dame, 117 yards and 3 picks, no touchdowns. But then rebounded against Syracuse, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. If he's routinely putting up 250 to 350 yards passing, and his touchdown interception ratio is 3-1, they're going to be a damn good team. Yeah,
and if they can get the ground game going too, to make the play action, just life a little easier for Morehead. Patrick Garwo III is back at running back. I don't think this guy's that bad. I think once again the scenario is you got to have. And what's crazy is I think you think of Boston College as always a great team in the trenches, Damian Woody and Pete Kendall and Andy Heck, I think might have went there. I don't remember, but I know they always seem to have guys on the offensive line.
Yeah. That's one with Adazio where that kind of stood out as they were
even pre-Adazio, but yeah, that was his thing.
Yeah.
Adazio did.
They had some great backs. Mike Clow was a tough little,
AJ Dillon. Yeah.
Dillon,
he's on the Packers now. Yeah. So I think Garwo is going to get the starts, but I keyed in on that Western Kentucky transfer, Kyle Robichaux. I think he'll get some carries. I also think Alex Broome, they'll kind of have a little bit of a running back by committee. I think, if I had to guess. Wide receiver wise, we touched on Ryan O'Keefe. I think he is the super important thing to highlight as far as wideout, because I think he's the best wideout this team has. Yes, Joseph Griffen Jr. returns. Jaden Williams returns. Dino Tomlin, son of Mike Tomlin.
Hello.
They got some NFL pedigree on this roster, Patty C. They're back at wide receiver, but a lot of inexperience. I think O'Keefe's going to come in and be the alpha on this
receiving core.
Yeah, on this core. Yeah. Just 2 of 5 back on the offensive line. Once again, they went out and got Hergel from Texas State, so you could and Logan Taylor from Virginia. Maybe you can make a case. I think they actually are going to be better on the offensive line. Just the fact that some people are healthy,
it can't really be worse.
Yeah, you can't be worse. But 2 of 5 back on the O line, led by left tackle Ozzie Trapillo and center Drew Kendall. I wonder if that's any relation to Pete Kendall, the legendary NFL offensive lineman. Patty C, what do you make of this offense?
Are
you concerned?
I am. Patrick Garwo III, 3 yards per rush. That's what the 3 at the end of his name stands for. 3 yards per rush. Look, they got to do better than that.
I don't think that's on him. I think that O-line was terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was reflected in the quarterbacks both having negative rushing yards for the season, both Jerkovich and
Jerkovich's got decent wheels.
Yeah.
So
you can't really say that he's immobile and that's why he's not able to pick up yards. He's probably getting swamped every play and taking sacks. And if he's trying to run the ball going backwards. So that it all does depend on the offensive line, but Garwo has something to prove to me, and Morehead is still unproven too. And O'Keefe, while a good receiver, not like a Bolitnikov guy, maybe, but
fair. I just think the offense will be a little bit better.
A little better, but at 120, I could see him getting up into like the mid range, maybe 60th, 70th offense in the nation. I don't see them lighting the world on fire. This team's going to have a good defense this year.
Well, let's talk about that defense, because 99th in scoring defense a year ago, 87th in rush defense, 43rd in pass defense. At least the pass defense is pretty good, but once again, they got kind of hit in the secondary. 66th in total defense. Their DC, 2 defensive coordinators. Once again, a lot of cooks in the kitchen here. Azar Abdul Rahim and Sean Duggan. Now, they are brand new DCs because the DC from a year ago left for the Carolina Panthers. 2 or 3 are back on the defensive line, led by Donovan Ezeraku and Cam Horsley. So there's that. 2 or 3 back in the linebacking core, which is always solid. Back to the Romanowski days. Cam Arnold and Vinny DePalma. But once again, I alluded to this. The secondary. 1 of 5 back in the secondary in cornerback Elijah Jones. Now, I touched on this. They got raided in the secondary, but if you're bringing in Alex Washington from Harvard, and Kari Jackson from Arkansas at the other corner spot, and safety Victor Nelson Jr. from Long Island, I got no idea, but it's going to be hard. I mean, they were not they were 43rd. They were top 50 pass defense a year ago,
which is crazy because it doesn't look like they generated a ton of interceptions last year. I'm on the individual stat sheet. I don't see the team stat sheet, but looks like they've only got 7 total as a team. You got to force a few more turnovers in that.
Yeah, so maybe it's addition by subtraction. Who knows? Kicker and punter are back. That's good. Yeah, kicker Connor Lighton's back. If it's a close game, you never know. Some edges. Jerry Kill, I know, notorious for saying that's how you win games. Because a lot of the teams are in the same level of talent as you. You got to capitalize on special teams and making field goals and all the little things, blocking punts.
Yeah.
Great punting, stuff like that.
You gotta be working all 3 angles of the game, especially if you're playing, games that are tight. If you're of average talent and you're eking things out, you gotta edge the other teams that on your same talent level with execution on all phases of the game.
But you could make the case also that this is the most talented BC team from a recruiting standpoint in a long time, Patty C.
That's true.
Since the days of Tom Waddle.
Curious as to which recruits are going to really start to shine this year. I am looking at this. Boston College 97th in the nation in interceptions rate last year. Got to get a little more aggressive on defense, but I do think that is Azar Abdul Rahim's signature. So
let's go. Let's get it going, folks. We're going to talk more about Boston College and go game by game on the schedule. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the Boston College 2023 season preview is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Yes, Bird Dogs make you look good. Yes. What is Bird Dogs? Well, Bird Dogs are stretch khaki shorts and they're designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. Think about Swayze and Roadhouse. You know what I mean? That's the way you're going to look. Just walking around town. People are going to be interested in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Might give you a job working the door at some bar in Boston. Cheers, the fucking Cheers bar, right? Next thing you know, you might be friends with fucking Sam Malone. All right.
That would be a great mashup. Roadhouse meets Cheers. Make that happen.
Let me ask you something. If Sam Malone, Cliff, Norm got into a Royal Rumble,
who's coming out on top?
Am I forgetting? And Kelsey Grammer's character, Frazier. Who's coming out of there? Norm, right?
Yeah, Norm.
Cliff could be underrated, but we'll set
Wait, is Cliff the little old guy?
Yeah, he's the mailman.
Oh,
no, the little old guy, I forget his name too, but we'll set odds.
People's ankles.
The youth has no idea what we're talking about. Anyway, my point is, Bird Dogs is going to make you look good. All right, Bird Dogs, they fit just way better than regular shorts. You know, regular shorts are made of stiff restriction cotton. Bird Dog fixed this issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that makes you look like khakis, but essentially it stretches, so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. And how about this? Bird Dog uses anti-stink sweat wicking fabric. So look, you're not gonna smell like complete ass. You know what I mean? Even if you tied one on last night and you haven't got a chance to shower and you're out in the universe, doing things, you're not gonna smell like fucking Christian Slater. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have opportunity.
You're getting aired out.
So it keeps you cool and dry all day long. You got to check it out. Go to birddogs.com/pool. Enter the promo code POOL, POOL, for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. So not only are they giving you great smelling shorts and just great wearing shorts.
I can see you wearing a tumbler.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's birddogs.com/pool for a free Yeti style tumbler. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We can promise you that. All right, we are back, and shout out to Cameron Kerr, our graphics guy, who did this sweet graphics. If you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. I mean, he is a Texas A&M guy, and I know they rated the Boston College team, but shout out to the graphics department. Patty C, we have the win total here. It says 5.5. Now, this is a team that was not very good last year. Would they win 3 games last year?
Yeah.
So blindly, when you see 5.5 without looking at the schedule, they lose a lot of guys. We kind of thought they lost the portal by a little bit.
Yeah. Without looking at the schedule,
you're saying
no
way,
that got
right?
lit up a bunch of times last year and finished 3-9 and lost a 5-star quarterback and didn't add like super impressive pieces. That 5.5 sounds very, very optimistic.
Let's get into it, because Saturday, September 2nd, the Northern Illinois Huskies and Thomas Hammock come into Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill. Patty C, Northern Illinois was only 2 years ago. They went to Georgia Tech and won, another ACC foe. And I think four years ago they went to Lincoln, Nebraska and won.
Yeah,
I think they're
also a MAC football team. The thing that separates an 11-2 MAC football team from a 2-10 MAC football team is, a couple plays.
And Northern Illinois was 3-9 last year, so
right.
but 2 years ago they won the MAC. That's your point,
right?
So NIU has Rocky Lombardi at quarterback. He's been in college for like 30 years, and he's related to Vince Lombardi. So hard to fade that. However, I think it's anyone's game, but I would favor Boston College. I think they'll be favored in this game. I think they'll probably be favored by like 6 points.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm taking BC at Alumni Stadium. You?
I am taking BC as well.
1-0. And now here comes an interesting one. Saturday, September 9th. The Holy Cross Crusaders, who are located in Boston, Massachusetts, if you did not know. Don't look now. Don't look now. Holy Cross. They had one loss last year, and that was in the FCS playoffs.
Quarterfinal
to the team that won the national championship, and that was on campus in Brookings, South Dakota, and that was tied up going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
This team is really good. They've beaten 2 straight FBSs. They won at Buffalo last year, who was a bowl team in the MAC, and the year before they won at UConn. They got this kid Matthew Sluka at quarterback. He's like Tebow 2.0. All right. This team is a really good football team. They're preseason number 4 in the FCS, Patty C.
That is really impressive considering where they were when he took over in 2016 and 17. They were.
He is in
Bob Chesney.
Yeah, Bob Chesney. Doing wonders with this program.
Yeah.
Doing wonders with this program. And we were talking about this little pre-episode. If Jeff Hafley doesn't work out this year, they need to look right across town.
Hello.
Because Bob Chesney, not only he's got a great history as far as Catholic schools too, right?
Salve Regina, Assumption, and Holy Cross has basically done the thing you want to see from a head coach. Turn them from mediocre teams into elite teams at all three stops in short order.
And they're like a physical football team. And what's so impressive is they don't give away football scholarships.
Yeah.
I repeat,
that's unbelievable.
They have beaten 2 FBS schools in the past 2 go arounds, and they're not giving away scholarships.
Right. Essentially with walk-ons.
Yes. That's incredible. Shout out to Gil Fenerty. They were talking Tecmo Bowl. He is a Holy Cross Crusader. Patty, see, this is a dangerous game because you have Florida State on deck. It's a rivalry game, right? This is one of their longest played rivals.
Second most played rival of all time. And if you're thinking Holy Cross is going to be a pushover, all-time series 26-19 in Boston College's favor. Not exactly.
Holy Cross got good football culture, man. They got good football culture.
They haven't played, according to this, since 1981, though. So this is a rivalry that had existed
rebirth
for a long time.
Reborn. I can't talk.
At one point, this was their most played rival, and they took a long break, but here we are 3 years later, finally
watch out, man.
Yeah. That's the kind of game Holy Cross is going to get up for, actually.
Of course. Yeah. And dude, I don't know that I get it. BC's 41st but I've seen Holy Cross over the past couple of years. I think this is a game. I think this is a 1 score, maybe late. They can push it to a 2 score, but I would not be surprised if Holy Cross won this game.
I need to double check that. That cannot be true. They could not have just. That may be
I thought
sports
they played
reference.
more recently.
That may be sports reference.
I thought they played more recently, but when when Holy Cross wasn't that good. Either way, I think it's a dangerous game. I'm going to take Boston College because I think they'll be favorites, but I would not be surprised.
Okay, they have played more recently.
And the all-time series is 49-31.
49-31. Okay. Yeah. Winsipedia is a little more reliable. I got to make sure I reference that. But
they first played in 1896. I love the fact they have this game on the schedule, though. You got to love that. Patty C, who are you taking to win this one?
I think it's a very, very real threat for Boston College. I think they need to show up and play ball. But that said, they're getting them at home. I guess I'm going to lean BC
2-0. Let's do it.
All right.
Now, Florida State, the Seminoles come to Alumni Stadium on September 16th. Now, this is an interesting spot because Florida State has Clemson on deck. So I know Boston, if you're a Boston College fan, you hate seeing this game in September. You want Florida State in November or late October, where you can actually play to your advantages. It's not going to be cold, but it is a good look ahead spot for Florida State, and maybe BC can bite them.
Yeah.
However, I got to take Florida State here. You?
Of course. If Florida State is really the preseason number 3 team, Boston College isn't in the same, universe.
Yeah.
So this should be a whooping even in Chestnut Hill, and even with a look ahead spot for the Clemson game for Florida State the following week. But it could be a closer game than we're thinking.
So then week 4, they head to Louisville, Kentucky. This is one. I still got to favor Broome. It's on the road. Now, it wouldn't shock me if BC beat them last year, but I'm saying it wouldn't shock me if they won this game, but I got to favor Louisville here. I think they'll be dogs in this game. Give me the Louisville Cardinals. I think Boston College is 2-2 heading into Saturday, September 30th.
34-33 last year, 1 point affair. I think even in
but this is one I feel like you're happy that you're getting in September, because Broome, they're probably gonna be a lot better in November than September because Brom's a brand new coach coming into this program.
He's gonna have that offense rolling by November.
Yeah.
I think you're right, but still in Louisville, I gotta favor the Cardinals slightly.
Agreed. So 2-2. And then comes Saturday, September 30th, the Virginia Cavaliers, the Wahoos, Tony Elliott, the NASCAR driver, coming into town here at Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill. Look, I think Virginia is kind of a mess. I'm interested to see if they're going to be any good this year. I don't want to say this is a for sure win for Boston College because I don't think they're that far off from one another.
Yeah.
But I think BC is better, and I think it's at home. I'm taking Boston College to win this game. I got them 3-2 in the month of September. Patty C.
Virginia was 3-7 last year, and I want to look real quick at some comparable results to support your point. Virginia was able to beat Boston College. They lost to Louisville, lost to Syracuse. They took Miami to overtime. They only lost to UNC by 3. They're an inconsistent team, kind of like Boston. They're almost identical. I think the fact that this is in Boston and Chestnut Hill makes
UVA
me
had a bunch of people leave the team too. I don't know
It's
that they're
true.
better this year than last year.
It's true, and they had a couple playmakers last
They had
year.
Brennan Armstrong. Now they have Tony Muskett, an FCS transfer. That's
Although
a big
Brennan
gap.
Armstrong sucked last year.
Still,
Without Robert
there's a
Anae.
reason why Notre Dame and NC State fought over him.
Yeah, I mean,
A lot of teams wanted Brennan Armstrong.
he was a good quarterback. He had a really rough year, but either way, I don't think they're going to fall off a ledge completely because he's not there. I think UVA is going to be okay, not good, but not.
I think they
terrible.
might. I think they might go winless.
I think you're sleeping on UVA, but either way, I mean, this is ACC football. The entire Coastal Division won the league in 7 consecutive years, 7 teams, 7 years. So they're never that far off from each other. They're state flagship schools. They're decent. So I think Virginia is going to push Boston College, but I favor Boston College and Chestnut Hill.
So that puts you at 3-2, just like me.
Yeah.
Then Saturday, October 7th, interesting game. Boston College going on the road to Mikey Stadium to take on the Army Black Knights, who, if this was last year, I would say Army's going to beat them, right? But Army's these rule changes with the NCAA. Army's out of the gun now, out of the shotgun, which is disgusting. The NCAA should be ashamed of themselves. Just an absolutely fucking ridiculous ruling that happened here. But Patty C, I feel better about Boston College's chances now. And that's why I am going to take BC to win at Mikey Stadium, but I think it's a close game, but I favor BC to win this game. So I would put them there at 4-2. You?
I think you're out of your mind. I think they're losing to either Virginia or Army on the road. And look, just because they're tweaking their offense and getting away from the triple option a little bit doesn't mean that the culture isn't still there. That
Jeff Monken?
Jeff Monken's instilled. I think they're probably still going to be a pretty good team, and a trip to Mikey Stadium is not an easy place to play. So I think they'll get caught in one of those 2 games. I got them 3-3.
Really? I'm going on the over here. Then they get a bye, and then they welcome in. This is actually an awesome schedule, might I add. They get a bye, and then they welcome in, or no, I'm sorry. Then they hit the road to Bobby Dodd Stadium to take on Brent Key and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
You're ridiculous. Georgia Tech is one of the top offensive teams in the country.
That is not true.
Not true. And look, this is like a 50-50 game, but I think Boston College is going to be favored. I think Boston College will be like a field goal.
Yeah, that's
favorite.
not outlandish.
Maybe a 1-2 point favorite. This is anyone's game. Key's still in kind of the first year.
Yeah.
Hafley's in year 4. I kind of favor BC to win this.
Even on the road. Yeah, you're right. Bobby Dodd's not a hornet's nest. No pun intended. It is a Yellow Jackets nest. Come on. Not quite as intimidating. I don't know. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to do this for basically every other game on the schedule till the end. Between this game and the next game, they'll go 1-1 because the following game that
Jim Mora, friend of the program, Jim Mora Jr. And the UConn Huskies come into Chestnut Hill. Look, they beat them last year, and Mora's starting quarterback tore his ACL in the first half of the first game. For a former 4-star Taquan Roberson, Penn State transfer.
Here's a baller.
He's going to be back, and also they hit the portal again. I think UConn's better than Boston College right now. I got UConn winning at Alumni Stadium. The Big 12 berth on the line, Patty C.
Hello.
Perhaps, but
in the
no.
first of 5 straight Big East matchups
it's back, baby.
That's right.
Look, but so I'm taking UConn. So it sounds like you're kind of an agreeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would have me.
You got him at what?
4-3.
4-3. Wait,
right.
1, 2,
no,
3,
5-3.
4. Yeah, you got them 5-3. I got them 4-4.
Folks, the win total is 5.5. Then they hit the road to Syracuse, New York, to the Carrier Dome, whatever the fuck they call it now. This is a weeknight game, prime time, so you'll be able to catch this one on Friday, November 3rd. Oh man, This is a 50-50 game, but I favor Syracuse because they're at home, and I think Dino Babers is a better head coach.
Syracuse has won 2 in a row in the series and leads the all-time series 33
This is
to
a
22.
winnable game, though.
Oh, it's very winnable. Yeah. I mean, this has been a pretty darn competitive series since they both came to the ACC. So, and then I guess Syracuse dominated the 90s and 80s a little bit, but I don't know. All time, that's surprising too because Boston College was pretty good in the 80s.
Syracuse used to be awesome, though, dude.
Yeah, Syracuse was like a top 15.
Yeah, Jim Brown and Larry Zonka and Joe Morris and Art Monk and all those guys. Yeah.
But yeah, Syracuse had some players. It's close. Flip a coin, but in the JMA Wireless Dome, then I'm going the Orangemen.
Yeah, I'll go Syracuse by a field goal, but that's still a winnable game. Then they welcome the Virginia Tech Hokies on Saturday, November 11th. Brent Pry, year 2. If this was in Blacksburg, I'd probably take the Hokies, but it's at Alumni Stadium. I'm taking Boston College, and that puts me on the over, Patty C.
Beating the Hokies in Chestnut Hill in November is always fun. And that would be a nice game for them to
They've
take.
kind of had the Hokies number, right? I feel like they.
I think so, and I'll agree with you. I will give them that win. I'll say they lose Syracuse and beat Virginia Tech. We got them winning. Well, no, because we had them losing at home against the Huskies. So, not a huge home field advantage working for them, but still splitting 2 consecutive series.
The Boston College has won 3 of 5. They're not really dominating the series at all, but 3 of 5 is 3 of 5. Yeah. Okay. And then we got a
so
trip.
That puts you at 6 and 4 for them.
Yeah. 6 and 4. Now they had short week again, nationally televised game, Thursday, November 16th, Boston College at Pitt Acupuncture Stadium, whatever the fuck this is called now, Heinz Stadium. Jerkovic, this is the revenge game, right? This
Thursday
is
nighter, national spotlight.
I mean, Pitt is known to throw lemons out on that schedule. Like Pitt will be like, they'll be like, they could go undefeated and then they'll lose to a team like Boston College or UVA or something.
On a Thursday night, you got to figure they're dialed in.
I'm taking Pitt. I think they're the better team.
Yeah.
But would I be shocked if Boston College won this game? No, but I'm taking Pitt.
Sure. So you got them at 6 and 5 now. I got Pitt there. I got them at 5 and 6.
Okay, and then Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes come into Chestnut Hill on Black Friday, November 24th. They don't want that cold weather, and this is why. Boston College is going to pull the upset. This is their upset. This is their
noon upset. Eastern kick, maybe a little bit early for those Miami party boys. I don't know. Fun viewing. Let's hope there's some snow on this day.
Yes. But dude, I mean, this is one.
Boston College could easily beat Miami in this scenario. The last
Miami
time
was not very good last year.
Miami went up and played in the Fenway Bowl, or was it the Pinstripe Bowl? One of those, and they lost to Wisconsin like 31-3. They got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
They're not ready for cold weather football. They're still Miami boys. That said, I think Miami is way more talented than this Boston College team. So I'm taking Miami. I got them at 5 and 7. I'm not super confident in that though.
I got them at 7 and 5. I don't feel great about that prediction, but I'll tell you this, buddy. This is the best schedule in the Power 5.
Yeah.
Because hold on, let me count this up. If you Holy Cross is an FCS team, obviously they're a very good FCS team. If you take that out of the equation here, they only play 3 teams with a winning record last year in Florida State, Louisville, and Pitt.
Yeah.
Louisville's breaking in a new coach. They get him the first month.
Yeah.
If you told me I was going to get that, I'd appreciate, I'd say, yeah, if I'm a Boston College fan, give me him in September.
Yeah. And it's not like Louisville's been a consistent winning
They only
team.
have 8 Power 5s. Their non-con is 3-9 Northern Illinois, a very good FCS in Holy Cross, at Army, who was 6 and 6 a season ago,
and breaking in a new system,
and UConn, who was 6 and 7 a season ago.
They could,
they could easily win. Like, you want to talk about, this is a make or break year for Hafley.
Yeah.
If they get the right bounce, and Emmett Morehead plays good and the O-line protects, like, it's not that crazy. This sounds really crazy, what I'm about to say. It's not that crazy that they can play for the ACC championship. If they could score one upset, because the fact they avoid Clemson, they avoid Wake Forest, they avoid North Carolina, they avoid NC State, they even avoid Duke, who was like a 10-win team last year, right? I think this is an awesome schedule.
Florida State has to go to Clemson and to Pitt, and they go to Pitt late in the season.
Yeah. All they have to do is score like an upset. I expect them to be favored against Virginia. I expect them to be favored against Georgia Tech. They'll be a short dog, I think, against the Qs, and they'll be probably favored against Virginia Tech.
Maybe, yeah.
Now the Miami game could be
but
the
Miami
one.
could suck.
Yeah,
yeah.
This is a hilarious schedule, dude. This schedule, as a Colorado fan,
so envious.
It's like, dude, if you gave Dion this, I'd be like, we could go 10-2 this year. Yeah. This is what I mean about the benefit of being in the ACC.
It's definitely helpful to,
because this is going to be. Remember the year Syracuse and Babers had that 10-win season, and we knew they were not a 10-win team.
Yeah.
This is that year.
Well, yeah. When
this
you can
Hafley imagine if the ball bounces right, he could end up leaving Boston College for a better job because of this.
Yeah, exactly. You could leapfrog into like whatever.
He's gonna be hired I mean, I don't know, but I feel like, and if this doesn't work out, I know you've been saying not Tom O'Brien, Bill O'Brien.
Let's get another O'Brien back at the helm.
Yeah, and Bill O'Brien, he's in New England already.
That's right.
Steve Belichick. But no, I think they go Bob Chesney from Holy Cross. But
Bob Chesney seems destined to go from Boston College to Notre Dame and basically go to every single Catholic school in America on his way up the ladder.
Honestly, well, so you have them going 5-7. If that happens, do they fire Hafley?
They should.
I think they do. If that happens.
they will.
So then who do they hire? Let's just spitball for a second, even though I don't wish. I think Hafley's going to be okay.
Yeah, 3 bowling years in 4 years. I think you accept that as a BC fan.
But let me ask you this: let's play devil's advocate. He is fired.
Yeah,
and for some stupid reason, a lot of FCS coaches don't get the gigs in the FBS.
Yeah,
for some stupid reason. I know I read an article on The Athletic recently about how many great coaches come from the FCS ranks.
Yeah. Like
whether it's Tressel or Harbaugh or, if they named so many of them, Kleiman at Kansas State.
No, I'll push back and say, UVA tried that with Mike London after he won a national championship at the FCS level with Richmond and didn't work out at UVA, but now he's back down at William & Mary.
Dave Klossman, who was at Richmond, did work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, my point is who would you turn to? Obviously, Bill O'Brien is one that he, was there in the Penn State years after Paterno. That would be one.
Yeah,
they would. I bet you they would probably try to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's
should do
from
Chesney.
Boston.
They should do Chesney, but I bet you they go O'Brien.
Either way, I think is a win. I think Chesney might actually be the bigger win there. It just takes a little more balls because he hasn't been the head coach of Penn State or of the Houston Texans.
Let me ask you this: would they take a shot on Robert and I?
They should.
Yeah.
I think Robert and I deserves
of NC State.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting.
Getting long in the tooth. What is he, like 62 now?
Yeah.
And I.
So maybe you want someone younger. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, it's going to be interesting to see. Look, folks, I'm on the over. He's on the under. But let's talk a little bit about Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill. I'm bringing in my friend here, Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour. I got a chance to sit down with him and talk about his experiences to Chestnut Hill and Alumni Stadium. And here is that interview. The college football experience to talk Boston College Eagle football at Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill. Look, I've been to Boston, but I've never been here. But joining us on the show, and I'm excited to hear his take on this, is someone you have to follow on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. Some might know him as that. I feel like my brother was like, that guy CFB Campus Tour is great. And I was like, I'm lucky enough to know him as Michael Barker. How you doing, Michael? And please tell us about your experiences to great Chestnut Hill.
Yeah, well, I'm doing great. Always great to join you, Colby. And we're talking about Alumni Stadium. Obviously, ACC team opened in 1957. The original stadium had 26,000 seat capacity with a track. They ended up refurbing, adding about 18,000 seats. What was interesting about the original stadium, it was constructed in 156 days, so just 5 months. It's the site of one of President Kennedy's last speeches in 1963, and it also hosted the Boston Patriots of the AFL in 1969.
Wow, Boston Patriots there. Yeah, I mean, look. So here's the deal here, though. I know that it seems like Boston College has kind of been in a rut lately, but maybe Jeff Hafley's the guy to get them out of there. How was the fan experience? Because I've always heard that like Northeast, New York City, Boston, maybe that they don't care as much about college football, but at the same time, I feel like, you watch some FCS games up there and I see some lively crowds. How was the crowd experience when you were there?
So it was a lot of fun. I went to a Friday night game in 2018. They played Miami. Miami was ranked, and they ended up knocking them off. They rushed the field. One of my favorite photos, when a team rushes the field, I try to do two things. I try to run up to the top of the stadium and get an overhead view of everybody on the field, and then I try to run down and join them all at the same time. It's always interesting when everybody's running down the stairs to get to the field and you're, like a fish going upstream to get to the top. But they were lively. They were into that game. What's really cool about Alumni Stadium is that the field level seats are low, but not too low where you're blocked, but you feel like you're right on top of the action. It was a hard hitting game. It wasn't a 40 to 30 game. It was low scoring, but they wanted it. They showed up on a Friday night, which you won't always get fans at a game on a weeknight, especially for a P5 team. And they helped their team knock off a ranked team. So I had a great time there.
Heck yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. I want to see Boston College back on the map. The original quarterback, I think you could say, with Doug Flutie, the Hasselbeck brothers, Mark Hartzell. You can go on and on. Matt Ryan. Yeah, Matt Ryan. So, I mean, I would love to see Hafley in this program come up and really bring Northeast football back, but I got to get to a game there because it sounds like it was an awesome experience. So, gonna have to plan that out for in the coming years here. All right. Well, look, I appreciate you hopping on the show, and maybe one day I can catch you at a game at Alumni Stadium.
Well, Black Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving, they're playing Miami at a 3:00 game. It's always tough sometimes to get them on a weekend, but that would be a good one to check out. So I might go there, and maybe I'll see you there too.
Hell yeah, brother. All right. Making plans already. Folks, make sure you give Michael a follow on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. I'm telling you, his page is, to me, I think, like, if you love college football, or just if you just love stadiums, you just got to give him a follow. I'm telling you, you'll be pleasantly surprised. And just folks, one day how many games? I know you've been to all 133 college football stadiums. What's the most you've done in a week?
7.
7 games in 1 week, folks.
Yeah, so you're doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I did 3 on a Saturday last year. So, but we're trying to push limits, 81 in a year in 2020. So, whatever we can do. If you're watching this podcast, obviously you love college football too, and there's nothing better than talking games and stadiums. And I'm so happy to join Colby on this broadcast.
Heck yeah. Give him a follow. I'm telling you, folks, 7 games in 1 week. He posts the photo of the day. I'm telling you, it is awesome. You got to give him a follow at CFB Campus Tour. Michael, appreciate you hopping on and talking with this man, and have a wonderful day.
You too. Anytime, Colby. Thank you.
All right. Michael Barker talking about Alumni Stadium. Patty C, he went to the game last time. It sounds like that Miami went there and they lost. How do you feel? How do you feel about? You still feel as confident in your pick of the Hurricanes in Chestnut Hill in late November?
No, I think visions of Flutie throwing a Hail Mary a year after Miami wins his first national championship have to float through your head.
Definitely.
And I think the good folks in Boston are probably still smarting from that Eastern Conference Finals they just lost at the hands of the Miami Heat. So
revenge, baby.
Revenge is a dish best served ice cold, and it hopefully will be ice cold in Boston in November.
Yes, and I want the fans to get out there, man. Support Boston College, man. Come on. This is a sleeping giant. Get your shit together. They got NIL. This is a brand new day and age of college football. Let's go. Let's get it going. I'm on the over. He's on the under. Folks, subscribe to the College Football Experience. We're breaking down all 133 teams with a solo podcast for each and every team in the land. We've been doing this shit for years, each and every summer. Subscribe, tell a friend. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. All of our feeds are on YouTube. We also do the college basketball experience every single night of the season. We're here talking college hoops with you. Also the college baseball experience. Right now, it's actually rolling along. Boston College had a good year, man. They made the tournament. So check out the college baseball experience, the college basketball experience, the college football experience. Once again, all separate podcasts, but we come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Check out the sports gambling podcast. They got you covered for everything. Maybe some Patriot fans out there, Patty C, want to check them out. And get the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. You'll get access to all of our picks, podcast content, all of our guest appearances. Bill Romanowski was on that And come talk college football with us in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Maybe you're just a Holy Cross fan. Hop on over there. We talk it all. FCS. We got the FCS college football experience as well.
Yeah,
Check that out.
It up. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, folks. All right. Look, the journey continues. Excited to see Boston College. I'm way more optimistic now after seeing that schedule than I was previously. So it's going to be must watch every week, folks. This is the college football experience, Boston College style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run, shoot.